Woman accused of taking part in the quadruple murder in Laurel, Nebraska last year has entered her plea. According to court documents, Carrie Jones pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder, tampering with evidence, and accessory to a felony. Carrie Jones is the wife of Jason Jones, the man who allegedly killed 4 people in Laurel back in August 2022. Jason allegedly killed a family of 3, Jean, Janet, and Dana Twyford, and another woman, Michelle Ebeling. Carrie's murder charge comes from the death of Jean Twyford. On May 8th, Jason also pleaded not guilty to his charges. Jason and Carrie are scheduled to be back in court on July 24th for their pretrial conferences.